Great. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us here in the 21 Alive Plus studio. Meg Rossler joined here with reporter Tom Powell, who is down in Carroll County today for the fourth day of the Delphi murders trial. And Tom, I know you have to head back into court soon, but we kind of want to take some of the key takeaways that you've gotten in court this morning. I know there's something you want to tell us about one key piece of evidence that was presented in court this morning.
Yeah, that's right, and good afternoon, Meg. That key piece of evidence was Liberty German's cell phone, which was discovered on the scene where the two bodies were discovered. And the prosecution presented that into evidence. They also played a video that forensics experts were able to extract from that cell phone. That video was taken by Liberty German. It shows that she's pointing the camera in the direction, the phone on the camera, or the camera on the phone, in the direction of Abby. And behind Abby, you can see a man. Now, in that video, you could also hear Libby's voice. She was saying just a little bit, but just hearing her voice was enough to make her mother, who is in the courtroom, very emotional, as you can understand. It's been some time since she's heard her daughter's voice. The second key takeaway is about the chain of custody, and they spent a lot of time on this, talking to the crime scene investigator, the person that was in charge of that crime scene from Indiana State Police. And what they did there was the prosecution was trying to show that the investigation was methodical, that they took the evidence from the scene, and then once they took that evidence from the scene, they were able to preserve it in the proper manner. Now, the defense is trying to poke holes in the case, trying to point out different things that they think got mixed up during the investigation. Meg is calling me back now, so let's see here. You got me back, Meg?
Yeah, we had a bit of a little mix-up there. My phone, for whatever reason, hung up on you, so I wanted to make sure you could still hear me when I ask you your question. So that's why I was calling you. But if you want to just continue on
problem.
that, Tom.
We're live on digital, right? On 21 Alive Plus. Those things happen. So yeah, what I was saying is they were talking about the chain of command, and they spent a lot of time on that. The prosecution, again, trying to show that it was a thorough investigation by Indiana State Police. The defense trying to poke holes in that. One of the things that they talked about, Meg, was that some of the pictures from the crime scene show the investigators holding up pieces of evidence like the clothing. And they asked the crime scene investigator, hey, is that the best practice of what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to take the pictures? And he said, no, it's not the best practice. And so, again, that is an effort by the defense to try and poke some holes in the investigation. And then, Meg, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the atmosphere there in the courtroom. I can tell you that Richard Allen is inside the Carroll County Courthouse. He is listening to the testimony. He's taking notes. He also talks to his attorneys from time to time, but other than that, showing very little emotion. The jurors are paying close attention too. They're allowed to ask questions once the prosecution and defense are done with a witness, done asking questions. The jury can hand over handwritten questions to the judge. The judge then goes and meets with both the prosecution and the defense to whether that question will be allowed, and then she asks the questions of the witness. And those questions, I got to tell you, were pretty detailed. Detailed questions about how the video was extracted, when it was extracted, the GPS location of where that video was taken and what it showed to the investigator. So what's clear from that, and what I'm trying to get across there, is that the jurors are really paying close attention. Meg?
And I know something that we've also been paying a close attention to is family of the girls who has been in the courtroom the past couple of days and seeing their reactions to things that are being presented in court. Did you see any emotional reactions from either Abby or Libby's family today in court as well?
Yeah, and that emotional reaction came as they were playing that video because you hear Libby's voice, and you can just imagine that a mother who lost her child, once again hearing the voice of her child on a video, has got to be gut-wrenching, and Libby's mother was crying here in the courtroom. How could you blame her? Just an emotional moment for everyone in the courtroom as you hear a girl who has passed away. You hear her voice on tape, likely moments before she was killed. Meg?
And in case anyone is just joining us here, I'm joined with reporter Tom Powell, who's down in Delphi today for day 4 of the Delphi murders trial. And we're going through some of the key takeaways that happened in court this morning. Obviously, you guys are on a break right now. And Tom, I know you have to head back into the courtroom for the second session in a little while. Anything else you want to add for us before you head back in there for this afternoon?
No, I can just tell you that they presented a lot of evidence. They presented, and it's just like you see in a crime drama on TV, where the evidence is in a sealed bag, and that's what they present to the person on the stand who describes what's in the bag. One of the pieces of evidence was the Delphi swimming sweatshirt that Libby was wearing on the day that she was killed. Other pieces of clothing, shoes, and then the two key pieces of evidence I would take away from this today were, number one, Libby's cell phone. And then number two, the bullet that was found on the scene that the defense refers to, I think almost sarcastically, as the magic bullet. The girls were not shot, but the prosecution is trying to prove that the bullet on the scene that they recovered was from a gun owned by Richard Allen. So those are the two key pieces of evidence, I would say, the bullet and the cell phone from Libby German.
All right, Tom, well, thank you so much for bringing us all this information, and we will be sure to check in with you later this afternoon when you get out of the courtroom again for, again, the latest of what you hear later today. Thanks again, Tom. All right, and for anyone who might just be joining us, just recap for you what we saw today. Reporter Tom Powell is down in Delphi for day 4 of the Delphi murders trial. He brought to us, he's in the courtroom today. I know yesterday we talked about how 21 Alive hasn't been able to be inside the courtroom every day just because of the specific process of the pool of media reporters that are allowed in. And today we actually do have a seat in that courtroom. And Tom was discussing with us some of the key evidence that was presented today, and a lot of information still to be had in the courtroom. So we will be having updates on our evening newscasts later this afternoon, and also we'll hope to come back on here on our digital desk to bring you some of the latest and more in-depth information about what's covered today. And thanks to everyone again for joining us this afternoon.